Good morning. Thank you for having us. We are the University of Georgia Bateman team. I'm Kristen Ballard.
I'm Megan Coward.
I'm Courtney Garmhouse.
I'm Bridget Johnson.
And I'm Debbie Abalobo. And today, the University of Georgia Bateman team presents to you the I Count movement, which is a hyperlocal, grassroots, word-of-mouth campaign. Now, all these characteristics are present in our campaign because of a theory known as a two-step flow model. And this theory is a rather old theory, but it's had a resurgence because of the advent of social media. And what it entails is that instead of you getting a message from a newspaper or seeing something on television, that instead there's a middleman, an influencer who you trust. And because you trust them, you believe that message, and that's how messages are dispersed throughout the community. In terms of the community we're working with, we're working in Georgia. And Georgia is an undercounted state, meaning compared to the national average, Georgia had a lower return rate in the 2000 census. And within Georgia, we worked in Athens, which is actually ranked third in poverty in the country. And in 2000, 32% of individuals in Athens did not return their census. And per person does not return their census in Athens, $1,697 is lost for the community. And this equates to $55 million lost in federal funding. And for a community that's ranked third in poverty in the country, we really knew the impact this campaign could have in the community we were working with.
So one of the unique characteristics about Athens is that it's a very diverse community, and there are microcosms that exist within our population. And that's one of the great characteristics about it. And that's something we kept in mind throughout our entire campaign.
The students in Athens actually account for a third of the population. And we knew that this affluent group many times masks the extreme poverty that residents in Athens experience, leading others to believe that it doesn't exist.
The Latino population is not only a growing population in the state of Georgia, but it's growing in Athens as well. Although none of us fluently speak Spanish, we really wanted to step out of our comfort zone and create a bilingual campaign.
And now historically in America, the African American population is undercounted. So when we began our campaign, we thought that would be one of our primary audiences. But we found that in Athens, Georgia, the African American population is actually highly counted. So we were able to, we didn't ignore them completely. We still focused on the African American, the Asian American societies. We grouped that into our general Athens population.
Now, Athens also posed various strengths and weaknesses. Now, in terms of strengths, the 2010 census is shorter than ever. It's only 10 questions, it's only 10 minutes. So we really tried to emphasize that. Now, in terms of the federal funding that could be regained, it's $55 million. So the motivation was there. Now, in terms of the weaknesses, the individuals in Athens believe that the census is going to be long, like it has been in the past. So therefore, individuals have a stigma that it's going to be long, and therefore they don't want to fill it out. Moreover, individuals who have not filled out their census in the past often do not want to fill it out in the future. So those are two of the weaknesses that we had to really combat.
In terms of opportunities, we wanted to reclaim lost federal support from low participation in the past, as well as make Athens, Georgia a better community through federal funding. And in terms of threats, the transient student population in Athens often believe that they should be counted in their hometown, when in fact they should be counted in Athens since they live there at least 9 months out of the year. And Athens also entails a large immigrant population, and this group is very fearful to give their information to the U.S. Census with belief that it will be shared with other organizations or agencies.
For our campaign, we had 4 main goals centered around knowledge, intent to participate, support, and localizing our efforts.
Our first objective was to increase knowledge of the census among our target audiences. And we had 2 objectives under that goal. One was to increase knowledge by 10%, and the other was to increase knowledge of the short form, since it was new this year, by 10%. Our second goal was to increase support of the census among our target audiences, because we knew that without support there would not be participation.
Our third goal was to increase intent to participate in our community, and our objective was to increase it by 5%. And our fourth goal was to streamline local and national information about the census to make it relevant to the Athens community.
Our entire campaign was grounded in extensive primary research, using scientific methods with high validity and reliability. Therefore, the results were generalizable. We used online and oral surveys, opinion leader interviews, content analysis, and focus groups.
For content analysis, we looked at the media from the 2000 census surrounding in Athens and Atlanta markets and national media that's specified on those markets. And we found that there was almost a negative connotation with census. They were using scare tactics. For example, one article said, if you don't fill out the census, your children won't have a good education. And we took that and decided to go with a more positive approach, emphasizing the positives and the things you could do with participation in the census. And we saw that, or we used messages like, if you participate in the census, you get $1,697 that can help your community get better schools, better funding, more police officers, safer, etc.